Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into Crossing the Aisle, WIB 103.9 with Sean and Lindsay, where politics meets passion. Literally.
Literally, yes, literally.
Literally.
Which we call it. Hey, Lindsay, how you doing this morning or this afternoon
This
or whatever we're at?
afternoon.
I don't know what we're at. It's 12 o'clock, but even the 12 o'clock counts as both, right?
I mean, it should, because I
It's,
always want to say good morning when I sit down, and then I realize it's not morning anymore.
yeah, it's not. So anyway, well, I hope everybody's having a good lunch hour today, and we are here to talk about some interesting issues. The first one is going to be we're going to get into Trump has offered $1,000 to undocumented immigrants who self-deport. So apparently, what you do is
Self-deport.
yeah, you self-deport, but I think you get a free plane ticket too.
Yeah, and $1,000.
I'll tell you what, I wonder if the illegal immigrants get like Delta Comfort, or is it just coach? Because
Oh,
they
I'm
have
sure
to.
they're not putting them in first class, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can find out now. Like, is he going to add that, or is that going to be part of it? So I guess we'd look into that. But he's going to offer that. You get a free flight to wherever you want to go, and $1,000. So not a bad deal.
Doesn't sound like a bad deal for someone who is here illegally breaking the law, right?
Yeah, and somebody asked me yesterday, do you think they could pretend to be an illegal immigrant, take the money, and then
I think that's
I
fraud.
think that's fraud. My legal expertise would call that fraud. So you
I'm
cannot
guessing
do
you
that.
might get in trouble for that.
Yeah, and we also have the problem of the I would imagine some undocumented immigrants or illegal immigrants or whatever anybody wants to call them. I don't really care. I get so annoyed by what they're
You
illegal
can't say alien anymore.
or alien or whatever.
That's a
I don't
no-no.
care.
That's a big no-no.
It's I just can't keep track of all the things you're not
You
supposed
and
to
your
say.
weird Democrat people, I swear.
Well, so they I could see them trying to take the money and then come back. They'll probably end up back across the border. Well, maybe not now because the border's pretty shut down pretty good. So anyway,
Let's hope so. We still don't have the wall, so
now the wall. I mean, in Mexico hasn't paid for it, not yet. But then we've got Shiloh Hendrix, who's the lady from Minnesota who called a 5-year-old kid the N-word in a park, was caught on video, and that's caused a storm. Comparing that to the Carmelo Anthony case, as well as the there's another case actually in I think it's in Cincinnati or somewhere like that involving a deputy. So there's a bunch of these things that are going on and kind of like stoking racial violence and fears and whatnot. We'll get into that. And of course, then P. Diddy is on trial. He has begun his federal trial, and that is
as known as Puff Daddy, as known as Sean Combs, as known as all these people have all these different names. So can we not have a name and stick with it somehow?
no, well, he just I think he's on trial for sex trafficking and all that stuff. There's a bunch of charges.
Yeah, a whole bunch of charges.
And he had refused a plea deal from the federal government and has opted to go to trial. And he's I guess he can't stop and he won't stop. So
I read somewhere they're expecting this trial to take like 3 to 4 months.
Oh, really? That much? There was that many victims. Apparently, there's a lot. So, but so that we're gonna get into that, and who knows what else? There's been a lot of news in the last few days and going around. So.
I mean, my favorite person visited Mississippi when we were out of town.
Jasmine Crockett was here yesterday. Lindsay loves her.
No, not yesterday. I mean, I'm sure she exited the state before I came back. She probably knew better.
Yeah, she's Jasmine Crockett is the Democrat version of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, is the best way to put it. Every side's got their grifters, I think. It's just because they're making money off this. Like MGT's got a brand, or MTG, whatever, and then Crockett's got a brand now.
Well, yeah, she tried to brand the term that she used.
Butch Body B.
Butch Body B. Blonde was in there somewhere, wasn't it? I don't know.
Blonde Butch Body B word. Yeah, so I don't know, but they're branding themselves. That's their brand.
Ridiculous.
So anyway, she was here, and
she gave the commencement speech at Tougaloo College, and of course, Big Bad Benny right there behind her, and has been flaunting the fact that she was here, as well as some other elected officials, and just kind of, I feel, is disgusting because she's a horrible human being.
Go Jasmine. Anyway.
No, she called the governor of Texas Hot Wheels because he's in a wheelchair. Like, how low can you go? And of course, the Marjorie Taylor Greene comments, and then made comments that immigrants will be the new slaves because her people won't be doing that anymore.
Well, I think it's funny when both people sides. I can't believe that person said that, which I think those comments are terrible. But I mean, it's not like Donald Trump has not said pretty awful things about other people. So,
yeah, which I don't agree with that either.
Which, I mean, so it's just funny when both sides throw it. You're like, I can't believe your person said this, or my person said this. Well, they're all saying stuff like this.
And I call them all
because they're all trying to get media. That's what the point is. They're trying to get more famous and make clickbait and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, then we have actually an interesting discussion that Lindsay came up with last night about school choice in relation to the Rankin County supervisors mess and the trailer homes. We might talk about that. So
and we always want to hear your opinions as well. So If you want to talk to us today, the phone line to call in on the show is 601-879-0002.
So Donald Trump has offered illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, or undocumented, whatever you'd like. It's your world.
If you're a kid in North Carolina in public school, you cannot say illegal alien or you will be suspended.
Well, what I'm just saying, here in Mississippi, you could say whatever you want. I don't care. $1,000 and a travel assistance, a flight, Delta Comfort, upgrade first class. I don't know about going home to or wherever they want to. I guess I don't think you could put a limitation on where they could go to. Maybe they go to Paris,
El Salvador.
No, that's where nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to go to El Salvador. So I think it's and he's offering that much that much assistance to help people decide to get out of here. Which to me, and it sounds funny when I saw the article yesterday, like, oh god, he's gonna give him $1,000, he's gonna take that. But if you think about, like, your other option may be to go to El Salvador,
right?
It's not a bad deal.
ICE come and get you and send you packing, and without a plane ticket or $1,000,
and then you're going to El Salvador, and where you're gonna die in that prison. So, like, I don't know, if I'm a illegal immigrant right now and I'm seeing the news, I'm kind of thinking, it's not such a bad idea. Maybe I'll take the $1,000 and the flight to not El Salvador. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I could see it both ways now. I'm looking at it like, it's not a terrible idea. I wonder how many. I'd like to see, like, if there's a little chart of how many people actually sign up for it, though. What do you think?
I mean, I imagine it's going to be difficult to get people to sign up for it. They're probably going to, if they're already here in the country, they're probably going to take their chances, and hope they get to stay.
Well, I was wondering, like, if you're an illegal alien, immigrant, undocumented immigrant, whatever, I'm going to say all three of them at once. You're kind of nervous. Like, are they just telling me that? And then they're not going to give me the money and I'm just going to El Salvador? Like, I'm kind of nervous about that. Just like yesterday, I was wondering, like, how many of our Hispanic friends actually showed up at Cinco de Mayo celebrations, because they know ICE is just like, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. They would just show up at any Mexican restaurant. They know, I was like, they had to be smarter than that. There's no way they showed up. So I would be scared if I was illegal. I'm like, I'm not drinking that margarita. I'll go on May the 6th, not May the 5th.
Exactly. I mean, you gotta consider that. I think that might be an option.
It's like I always say, it's like people that drink and drive on holiday weekends, I always call amateurs, because the cops, like, literally put out messages saying, we are doing enhanced enforcement. We're going to pull you over. But then some dude is, like, leaving Shuckers on July 4th. Like, that's not a good idea. Like, don't drink and drive on a holiday weekend. It's just
not
a terrible
smart.
idea.
But if you do, I know a good DUI lawyer.
Call me and I'll help you out. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, curb business for myself, trying to get it, but I mean, really, it's just a bad idea.
I don't know. Do you really mind when you get the DUIs that you make money on?
No. I mean, I'll take all the DUIs in the world, but I'm just saying, good practice is on a holiday weekend. I mean, it's good. Don't drink and drive anytime, by the way. I'm not saying don't do that. But a holiday weekend is, whenever I see somebody get caught on those, it's like Memorial Day weekend, so-and-so was pulled over. You're like, what, didn't you know? And so it's kind of like a Mexican going on to Cinco de Mayo that's not here legally, going to Cinco de Mayo, like ICE and, like, Tom Homan is, like, set up checkpoints at every Mexican restaurant in the United States yesterday. I wonder how, like, they had, like, a big haul, so it's just
y'all, Sean is so funny. I mean, he's so paranoid that he won't have one drink and then get behind the wheel. I mean,
I'm not doing it.
Some people, like, will go to dinner, maybe have a glass of wine and drive home. They're clearly not impaired, but Sean's like, his anxiety level is through the roof.
Well, I just, I always get worried about the consequences of hitting someone more than anything else.
Yeah, how do you live with that?
Yeah, it scares the crap out of me. So I don't.
That would be worse than any trouble you could get in.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I went out and drank and drove way too much, which was really, I learned my lesson from that. And I think now in the days, then those days we didn't have Uber, but now you got something at your fingertips that you really don't have to. Like, there's no reason. Like, if you can't afford the Uber, then you can't afford a drink, in my mind. Like, don't go out drinking. So I don't know why you wouldn't just take the Uber when you can do that. But so many people don't. They get in their car and they just take the risk. So.
Sean has a friend who will remain nameless that was drunk one night when they were much younger, and they saw the cops come in, and so he yells, "F the police," or out the window, just screams it, gets them pulled over. And there was somebody else driving, I think, and that person ended up getting a DUI.
I will call his name out since he doesn't live here and they can listen to the audio. Will Benton did this one night, and so we were on State Street.
Well, I was not going to out you. That was Sean.
I outed him. I'd love to have a recording of this. It's like the summer of 2001 or something, and he yelled. I think on the police report it said "F the Jackson police." Of course, they pulled over a friend of ours who you met at St. Patty's Day.
Who was driving the car.
And he unfortunately got the DUI. Will just got like some citation for profanity or whatever. I don't know what it was, but yeah. So don't yell F the police when you're drinking and driving. That is free legal advice for you there.
I mean, that should be common sense, but you know.
Over. Yeah, don't do that. Don't. And one time he hit hit something, and he's like got out of the car and stacked all his beer cans on top of the car, and he was like, oh yeah. I'm like, why are you stacking the beer cans on top of the car? Well, I mean, they can't get you for open container inside the car.
And then he got arrested.
I'm like,
right?
If they're like, but they're stacked like on top of the car.
But like, did they find him that night, or did they arrest him that night?
No, he was good. I think
okay.
He may have got away with it. I don't know. No, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
Oh, Will.
Don't know what year, don't know where. It's just out there. But yeah, so yeah, don't drink and drive. And on a holiday weekend or any time, for that matter, get an Uber. And if you're a legal immigrant, I hope you did not go to a Cinco de Mayo celebration yesterday.
Tell you, that Mexican restaurant that's around the corner from your house, it was popping last night. I mean, there were so many people out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many were Mexicans, but there were lots of people.
And that's a lot. I don't, you know how much I love Mexican food, and that's
kind of the last day you want to go because it's going to be so packed.
It's like going to church on Easter, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so packed and everybody's there, and you know, you can kind of like you're almost like a tourist. But
so one day you're going to find everyone eating Mexican.
Well, I mean, I think that's better to go to a Mexican restaurant on a different day. But anyway, so if you were at the Mexican restaurant and you were illegal and were you thinking about taking the $1,000 and the free flight? I don't know. This is interesting, but it's an interesting point. So
if you're an illegal immigrant out there listening, call in, let us know. What do you think?
Yeah, you're calling in, right? This is Jose. Like, I didn't go. They won't catch me, right? So, but I think, you know, that in general, and I would give the president credit for this. I mean, they've done a good job on enforcement of immigration in terms. I mean, the border has
shut the border down,
and so like he's really. I mean, he said he was going to do this stuff, and he's doing it.
You know, I would just wish that they would focus kind of solely on the illegal immigrants here who are a problem, who are involved in crimes, or that are dangerous. I think that should be what the focus is first, and then we'll look at other things.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that would be the first way, because now it's kind of like this mass. Everybody's
scared.
I mean, they've got a lot of. It seems like they've got a lot of violent ones too, though. That of specifically the MS-13 people, and the others another gang or so many gangs. But yeah, see, I agree with what you're saying there. I think that the focus should be on the guys that have been convicted or still here. What are they doing here? Violent crimes.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it has been a market difference. Obviously, that was one of the reasons the Biden administration was a failure. Was on the border.
Well, he had the best border czar out there, right?
Who denied that she was a border czar? Which obviously really hurt her electoral chances, because it was just the entire public. You could see, it's completely out of control.
Yeah, and, for sure.
So, like, he has lived up to that, I would say. So.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to take our first break, but y'all stay with us right here in WIB. We will be right back to break all the things down. Y'all stay with us right here in WIB. We will be right back to break all the things down.
.1039 WYAB.
At Johnny's Pizza House, we consider our customers like family, so we spend the extra time needed to put more love into making our pizza. From our dough made fresh daily to fresh, never frozen ingredients, Johnny's Pizza House takes pride in knowing that what we serve our customers isn't just pizza. It's a slice of home in every single bite. Great traditions start with great food and great people. Start your tradition today with Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering Day and Night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With Day and Night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Some things in life are timeless.
like her love, her smile, and the way she lights up your world.
At Juniker Jewelry Company, we believe the diamond you choose should be as timeless and precious as she is. I'm John.
And I'm Corey Ravenstein. That is why we offer only natural diamonds forged by nature over 1 billion years ago.
They're rare, authentic, and one of a kind, just like her.
We are Mississippi's largest direct diamond importer of natural heirloom quality diamonds, every size, shape, and price range.
All at the guaranteed best price in the state. So giving her a gorgeous natural diamond from Juniker's is more affordable than you think.
Doesn't a love this timeless deserve a natural diamond?
Because she's not synthetic.
She's not a copy.
She's worth the real thing.
Real love, real diamonds, naturally at Juniker's.
Juniker Jewelry Company. From anywhere in Mississippi, we're at 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and online at junikerjewelry.com, Mississippi's direct diamond importer.
Antique Mall of the South has 14,000 square feet of pristine, clean floor space. Home to beautiful, timeless antique treasures. Antique Mall of the South is open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. Check them out online at antiquemallofthesouth.com or go to the Antique Mall of the South Facebook page. You can also read the dozens of 5-star reviews online. Come see for yourself at Antique Mall of the South in Ridgeland. Now open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. That's Antique Mall of the South, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
Here at Lake and Glass and Tint, we've become well known for two things: window tint and windshields. Now, when it comes to window tint, you already know that we're the go-to for home, car, and office. And as always, we offer free consultations. So if you're in the need of window tint or windshields, give us a call, 601-946-1000. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram or at lakeandglassandtint.com. Lake and Glass and Tint, where quality matters.
For decades, you've known the name Martin's for good times, great food, and the best live music. Now that's happening at 2 locations, downtown Jackson and Livingston. Check the websites, martinslivingstonms.com and martinsdowntownjxn.com for the many special events and live music lineups. You can chill with friends on the big patio at the Livingston location and enjoy the blue plate lunches and nightly drink specials. Martin's, downtown and Livingston.
Come together right now over me.
Sorry, my mic was off. Welcome back to Crossing the Aisle with Sean and Lindsay.
And here, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so the next issue we're going to get into has been, everybody keeps messaging me asking to talk about this, is the Shiloh Hendrix thing. And it's amazing to me what becomes popular in the, I guess, in the culture wars or whatever you want to call it. So what it is Shiloh Hendrix is a white mother in Rochester, Minnesota, who was out at a park, I guess, with her children, and a 5-year-old black kid, I think she said, stole something out of her diaper bag or something.
Yeah, diaper bag, I believe.
And so she chased him and called him the N-word several times. And then there was a man that was videoing this, and the man confronted her. I watched the video and confronted her, and she called him the N-word too, and whatnot. So then that got, went viral on the internet. And some people set up a GoFundMe fundraiser for her, and she was saying, help protect my family, because she was getting all these death threats and whatnot, those kinds of things. So she was nervous, and it's raised like over $675,000.
I think it was closer to like 800,000 last time I looked.
Okay. I mean, so the
outrageous.
It's what it's looking like is like it's a war between kind of like backlash for the Carmelo Anthony. If y'all remember, that's the guy that stabbed Austin Metcalf at a football game. Mm-hmm. And I think his family raised like over $500,000 on GoFundMe, which were said to be for legal expenses, but then they were like caught renting a $900,000 house with it, or all this, nefarious stuff. So,
well, I don't think that was true. They couldn't access that money to.
Was that not true?
I
saw that in the New York Post a second ago. Okay.
Unless they were eventually able to access the money and the people just let them rent it prior to actually paying for it. But when they initially rented it, they were not able to use that money. And I think people kind of just took that and ran with it, that they had, because it looked like they would probably use that money if they were living in a gated community, because they were getting threats and things. And that's what this woman is saying. She's getting threats, and which I'm sure that she is. We have a right to free speech, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be consequences when you say something stupid.
And people, I think, everybody loves to say, I was telling you this last night, loves to say free speech, free speech. You have a right to free speech based on government preventing your free speech. That's what it is.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not anything to do with private individuals can suppress the crap out of your speech if they want to. It's about
Right,
the government.
absolutely.
First Amendment applies to what the government can do.
Well, people got confused about that with Facebook when all
Yeah.
of this censoring was going on through COVID. Facebook can censor anybody they want.
Absolutely. It's their own company.
It's their prerogative. And if we even attempt to change that, then that's a real slippery slope right there. What they can't do is censor things that the government tells them to censor.
Right, like they were doing under the Biden administration.
Right,
for a while.
exactly.
There was stuff they can't. So it's all about government telling you that, suppressing your speech, not what private people. So this has nothing to do with government. This is the internet and people getting mad about what she's. So I heard Matt Walsh say last night, it's about speech. I don't really think it is necessarily, because the government's not intruding on anything she's doing. This is all about a video. It's up on the internet and people are reacting the way they want to react to it.
And outrageous as it is, it's up to people to give their money should they want to give their money.
Yeah, right. They can give their money just like the people could give Carmelo Anthony people money. But now it's become a war of almost like a race thing where people are going to give this white lady money. He's using the N-word in response to the Carmelo Anthony thing. And then I saw that there was a deputy that was killed that let me see here. For Rodney Hinton Jr. is a Ohio father accused of killing a sheriff's deputy one day after the police fatally shot his son during a stolen vehicle pursuit. So apparently what I read is his son stole a vehicle and then it was armed and the cop shot him, right? Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, in response to this, goes and kills a sheriff's deputy that was not involved in the thing. And then the people started a GoFundMe for him. And I got up to like $5,000. It's
well,
like this.
I need to start a GoFundMe for something. What can
I mean, I guess you could say the N-word on the internet and people would give you money.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
I'm going to pass on that myself. But, I guess this worked out for this lady, what's called Miss Hendrix, in terms of the money she's raising. But, and that goes to the whole thing. I mean, you can say what you want, but you're not free from the consequences. And I don't think people should be giving her death threats or that sort of thing, but that's gonna happen if you say that
if you say something stupid. Yeah,
which is gonna happen, and you're probably never gonna get a job again. So good for you there if that's what you wanted. I mean, I was gonna hire you.
Well, I mean, she might not need another job. Look at the money she's got.
If she gets up to $1 million, she might not need another job. But you're not free of those. I mean, so yeah, say whatever you want, but just deal with what's gonna happen in the and this is the response to it. Now, of course, yes, she's made a lot of money from it, and I guess maybe she's gonna look at it like that. And I don't know. It's kind of weird to me why people are giving her money. It's not. I heard Matt Walsh say last night it was like cancel culture. I don't know that it's cancel culture. I mean, she said the N-word to a 5-year-old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. It's different than.
Was it a 5-year-old?
Yeah, that's what I've read. It's a 5-year-old. So, I mean, I don't know that that's. Are you getting canceled for that? Yeah, you probably should get canceled for saying the N-word. I mean, I don't think that's something that.
But and I said this to you last night. The thing about that to me is I think that word should just be gone. I don't think anybody should be saying it from either side of the aisle or either. Yeah. I don't care what color you are. Like, why can we just not remove that word completely? Like, why does anyone feel the need to use that word? Black or white?
Well, I don't know. I mean, but I just I think there's I'm totally been against cancel culture, and I think the left said that for a long time. The left has pushed that for years. This doesn't seem to me be an incident of that. Like, this is some white lady saying an N-word to a 5-year-old. It's not some moral crusade against cancel culture, in my opinion. I don't see it that way. It's there's other. I mean, I'm trying to think of examples of things I thought were stupid cancel culture. Like, there was that girl that was on the Mandalorian series, and I think she said something, I can't remember what it was, and she got kicked off the series. The Star Wars series. I think,
of course.
Yeah, there are things like that where I'm like, this is ridiculous. How are you canceling this person?
She's up to 707,255. So
how much?
707.
Yeah, I mean, so we've seen things that people got canceled for that were just absurd. They may have said an off-color joke. They, heck, Al Franken got canceled for like a supposed sexual joke or something. I mean, there's so many things like that that were just gone too far. I mean,
J6ers, they had their Facebooks taken.
Right. I mean, so there's been legitimate complaints about that, and that's a problem where people get sick of this political correctness. And I agree. I mean, political correctness was really, really annoying how far it got pushed. But this is not an example of that. This is like, it's never been okay to say the N-word to anyone, especially a 5-year-old. It's just never been okay to do that.
Yeah, I don't. What kind of person thinks that's okay?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Who would? There's a 5-year-old child. I I'm not yelling the N-word at anybody, but specifically, like, God bless it. Like, I'm not yelling a cuss word at a kid regardless.
When I think about cancel culture, my mind automatically goes back to the Dixie Chicks saying that they were ashamed to be from the same state as the president, which at the time was George W. Bush. I mean, they got for real canceled.
Yeah, because
it's just for saying something like just that simple.
They were against the war in Iraq, and from what I remember, and then the president at the time was calling French because the French were trying to block our resolution, so they were calling them freedom fries.
I guess that was so soon after 9/11 that people.
Couple of years,
that just people thought, hey, you got to be more patriotic than that.
Yeah, and in the end, they were right. The war in Iraq was a total sham, and they were right about it. And now, looking back, you're like, wow, that's just. But they did. They were like one of the first victims of that. And so that kind of stuff, I'm completely against. But I mean, somebody saying, I'm sorry, Crimea River, you're calling a kid the N-word, and I don't feel sorry for you.
How do you feel about people burning the flag?
I think you have the right to burn the flag.
But you can obviously, I'm sure, as a veteran, you can obviously see that causes anger, lots of anger in some people.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would piss me off too if I see somebody burn the flag in front of my house. I'm probably gonna kick their butt. But then that goes back to the whole argument: you're not free from consequences. Like if somebody burns a flag in my front of my house, I mean, I'm gonna go out there and have words with them. So, but
or maybe more than words.
Yeah, I mean, no, but do I think that you can live in a country that's so free that you're able to do that? Yeah, I think that's a good thing too. But again, you're not free from the consequences of your actions. And yeah, if me and if other veteran buddies saw that and you get the crap beat out of you, well, that's just what you get for doing that. But you were free to do it. And so that's what I mean. I think that's the difference. Like I'm glad we're free to do things.
But the government's not going to come and put you in jail for that.
Yeah, the government can't put you in jail for that. Other people may hurt you. Deservedly so for
kind of like this woman getting these threats.
Yeah, I mean, like she can say whatever she wants to say. That well, now she's never getting a job again. Maybe she won't need one because she can have money. But and she's going to be.
There might be some white supremacist organizations. Out there
yeah, I mean, she can work for the
KKK.
Yeah, there's lots of them. Maybe some neo Nazis or.
Look, maybe they'll put her picture right there beside mine on the Southern Poverty Law website.
I mean, so I don't know. That where she thought this was going to be, and then she doubled down too at the end of the video.
Yeah, double down
to the guy who was saying, "Hey, look, man, you shouldn't call
the kid
an N-word." And she's like, "Then she called him one," and I'm like, screw this lady. Like, I don't know, like I don't feel any sympathy for her at all. So, and
nobody really uses that word in the context as it was meant to be used, right? I mean, what is the definition of that word?
The N-word?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just know it's a bad racial. It's like the bad racial slur, right? That we, like, I was telling you last night. If somebody said it, and I'm typing them to them in a text, I don't type the word out. I just say the N-word because it's that bad. Where we're just kind of conditioned to know that it's not something that you can say. Whereas you can say other. I mean, quite frankly, you can say other racial slurs that are okay because they just don't seem as offensive. I know that sounds messed up, but like, one of my best friends is Mexican, and how many times I text him a racial slur about him, but I also have really good close black friends that will never do that too. I just think it's in that level of things that we just are preconditioned to know you can't say. And I think everybody knows that, or at least anybody of reasonable intelligence understands that that's just off limits. For why that became that level, I don't know, but I think it's just something in our consciousness where we just know not to say it.
Well, that's because of what we did. How far we've come from slavery, and I mean, obviously that's one that's such negative connotation because it's looking down on that class of people or that color of people because they were looked down on as slaves and less than for so long.
Right, for sure. But we're up against our next break, and we will see. We're going to get a conversation about the Rankin County supervisors and talking about school choice. And Lindsay and I talked about this for a long time last night, and I really want to get you guys to hear her take on it. And I thought it was pretty good. So.
Yeah. All right, y'all stay with us. We will be right back here. WYAB.
To hear her take on it, and I thought it was pretty good. So.
Yeah. All right, y'all stay with us. We will be right back here. WYAB.
103.9 WYAB.
Are you looking to get stronger, fitter, and push your limits? CrossFit Fondren is where Jackson trains. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, our expert coaches and supportive community will help you crush your goals. Join us for high-intensity workouts that build strength, endurance, and confidence. No gimmicks, just real results. Try your first class today for free. Visit us at CrossFitFondren.com or stop by the gym 3002 North Mill Street in Jackson, in the heart of Fondren.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants duct cleaning service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
I'm Sean Yurtkaran, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom, first as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work.
CBS News Brief. President Trump said today he'll be making a big announcement before leaving on a trip to the Middle East next week. In a meeting with Canada's Prime Minister, he was also asked about trade negotiations with other countries. He dismissed critics who point out no deals are being made.
We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us. They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market. They want a piece of our market.
The president also said the Houthi rebels in Yemen have agreed to stop their attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Trump said they have capitulated. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told Congress today travelers who don't have their real IDs by tomorrow's deadline will still be able to fly, but with extra scrutiny.
What will happen tomorrow is folks will come through the line and will issue their ID and show it. If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line.
On Wall Street, the Dow is off nearly 300. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Hello, WYAB listeners. My name is Rob Montgomery. I'm a minister in the Church of God, and I'm honored to be the regional overseer for the Church of God of Louisiana and Mississippi. I invite you to listen to my program, Arise Shine, on Sunday mornings, where I'll share the Lord's thoughts to my heart for you. Arise Shine will include Bible messages, encouraging thoughts, and a biblical view of current events. It's my hope that you'll be blessed.
Tune in to Arise Shine, Sunday mornings, 10:30 to 11.
Social Security belongs to you. You work hard and pay into it. So it's only fair for you to expect to get the money you've earned to help cover living expenses and bills, and not for politicians to use as a piggy bank. That's why AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security so you get what you've earned. Learn more at aarp.org/youearnedit. That's aarp.org/youearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
The weather is heating up and the deals are even hotter at Mazda of Jackson. Right now at Mazda of Jackson, you can drive home your dream Mazda with low financing rates available. 2.9% for 72 months on most models, or finance 36 months and pay just 0.9%. That's right, 0.9%. Experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
We are back here on Crossing the Aisle with Sean and Lindsay. So, Sean, I said to you last night, we saw this uprising in Rankin County and the citizens get out and they weren't happy with what their elected officials, their board of supervisors had done concerning the land and their property values, property rights. And I said to you last night, what if we saw government want to change the fact that kids can go to public school, or should say they can't go to public school if you live in a trailer,
Right.
because we're just going to discount this class of people. Do you think we would see the out? I mean, I think people would be upset. I think people would be angry, just like we saw them yesterday at this Board of Supervisors meeting. Don't you think?
I mean, if they pass a law that says that low-income people, essentially what you're saying,
Yeah.
can't, of a certain income threshold, can't go to public school.
Right.
Yeah, I think they'd be pretty pissed. Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
And
I think rightfully so. I think it would seem like, that's obviously, obviously unconstitutional to do that, but yes, they'd be, I'm sure, very, very angry.
So, but I thought about that, and in my mind, it went to, I feel like that's kind of what we've done
with
not allowing school choice.
Because you're saying that it takes away from low-income children to other areas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think it's definitely a class thing. There's I think during the school, and you know it better than I do, but during the school choice debates, there were all things like it was going to change the air quotes culture, which is basically dog whistles
and property values.
Yeah, and property values and those sorts of things. So, yeah, I think that's what they were trying to limit low-income children from coming into a more wealthy school district for sure. I think that, yeah. I mean, so what you're saying is the reverse of that would be like white low-income people, like where I would assume we're primarily represented, and this is not a knock at the folks that were against this, but I assume we're represented in the mobile home issue.
Those people were affected, were mostly the ones that were actually affected were probably more low income.
Yeah, I would think so. Right. It wasn't wealthy people that were going to be, and that's why. And they, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. It's it all breaks down to we're stuck in this class warfare as always. We've been stuck in that throughout human history for the most part. But I've always said this about this state, that people, we have parties on racial lines in the state. Let's just call it what it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, Democrats are black, Republicans are white. That's the way that's the way it is.
And of course, there's some exceptions.
Sure, there's
but
some,
not many,
but there are some. That's the way it is. I've said this for years. Like if people, lower income people, regardless of race, would join forces and create their own political movement, they would be an unstoppable force. Like you saw in Rankin County.
Absolutely.
Like if they actually, formed like forces to fight against these things together, they would be unstoppable. And then again, this week was a perfect example of what I've been saying forever.
What can happen when you work together and pay attention to what's going on, especially in your local government. I say this all the time, and I know you've heard me say it many, many times, but the only way to get healthy as a country is to start at the bottom, the most local levels. You got to show up and vote at those most local elections. And I think that's the times we don't see people get out and vote, because they don't think they're as important when actually they're much more important.
Yeah, because I mean, they're effect right there that affects your ability to sell your property, which is very important. Dictates what you can do with your property. And it feels like to me like, wealthy, I'm going to say this, wealthier interests were like, heck with it. We're going to do what we want. Because what I heard, I don't know if this back channel true or not, but that there was some developers coming in, probably some, high dollar developments. I don't know how true that is, but that's kind of what I've heard. Kind of sparked a lot of this. And they do what, it's not just Rankin County, it's all over the country.
Well, I mean, I
always
told you
been
that
like
they
that.
fought this in Tate County 2 years ago, and it almost seems like it's something that's coming to, it eventually will come to each county. So you've just got to be watching and paying attention. And I don't know I don't know who's behind it. I guess that's still a question that a lot of Rankin County residents have right now, is we want to know where it came from.
Well, it's just, it's a classic thing. The rich are going to generally take advantage of the poor. That's happened throughout human history.
Where's Robin Hood when you need him, huh?
And to put it just very simply, and that's why you've seen, like, initially, when I became a Democrat years and years ago, the Democrats were seen as the party for the championing the rights of the working person and the poor.
Did y'all know Sean was a Republican who worked for the?
I was never I worked in the.
You
Republican
worked in the
caucus.
Republican caucus in what? Where was that? Ohio.
But so like the Democrats were the working man's party, the party of lower income people, and now they switched to like the elitist party, where the Republicans have now become the party of the blue collar labor and whatnot. And you're seeing a lot of signs of that throughout the country, like even with down to like Bernie Sanders, who's always kind of been on that way, right, with that kind of populism for people that are labor, blue collar, and now Donald Trump appeals to that huge crowd of folks, the auto workers, manufacturing, those things. And so there's a huge rise in that right now, sentiment in that right now. And I think that, was kind of exemplified what you saw in Rankin County, like, hey, we're sick of this. Like, you guys are taking advantage of us. So and we're going to do something about it. And that's what you got to
Mhm.
do. I mean, because you're gonna if you're poor, you're gonna get taken advantage, unfortunately, and that sucks. That's why I've always been against that. That's why I initially became a Democrat, even though now it's the the rich person's party, which is just so ridiculous to me. But that's what happens when the rich are going to take advantage. I mean, they're going to do things in their interest, and poor people are kind of just shoved aside, unfortunately.
And also, I mean, I think a lot of times in government, there's somebody has something they want to do, and they just go along with each other. If
What
they
do you
don't,
mean?
if this doesn't affect them, there's not a big problem with it for them personally. Then they just kind of go along with whatever their local government officials that work together with them want to do.
Well, there was one guy I was watching that supervisors meeting, and I think he was like an insurance agent. He made a really good point. He's like, you guys show us these documents, but they're written in all this legalese that we don't understand. We have to ask a lawyer because we didn't go to law school. Like, how are we gonna know what these words mean? And so, like, tricking us into this kind of stuff because they put it in the language and they put it in that's the publications that they put
So they
out.
didn't even really
And
know what they were voting
the public
on.
doesn't even the public doesn't know what it is even when they
Yeah.
publish it. So I think that's certainly an issue. That they're like, why can't you just come and tell us what you're trying to do? And that's what all those people were just screaming for. They're like, tell us what you're trying to do.
And I got to shout out Jennifer Hall with the Republican Women and the Mary Jo Perry with the Conservative Coalition of Mississippi, because they really are so great about paying attention and organizing and getting people the information so that they can understand it. And they played a big part in helping people rally and get this handled.
Well, I think and they also, I mean, it kind of was like they were following their rules of the Board of Supervisors of publishing in like I don't know if it was a Rankin News or what paper it was, but we obviously know this is not 1950. You can't just put something in the newspaper that nobody
reads that anymore. But I think this brought attention to that, and now they're going to attempt to do better. May have a website where everyone can go and use social media, because that's just where people get their news from these days. I mean, it's just a fact. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I don't know. Do you know how it even got out, where people found out about it and figured out what's going on?
I'm not sure. I think Jennifer Hall may have had something to do with that, because she is president of like the realtors.
Okay.
So this is something that she would have been paying attention to, anything that affects land.
Like zoning, and stuff.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and we really learned exactly what the impetus, saying that we're wrong, was the reason behind the whole thing. I mean, I'm guessing I've heard that there was a large developer, but I don't know if that's true or not. So
that would make sense. That would make sense to me.
That's what I'm hearing. So, but I think that, again, we said this yesterday and today. I mean, this is a good example of people that when they do know the information and know it's going to affect them, they get out there and stop it. And then they did a good job of that. They went out there and they organized. And I mean, that was some quick organization. We were in Boston.
It was.
We saw the fires were burning on these folks.
Well, I had noticed it a few days before we left, but then I was showing it to Sean in the airport. We had a layover, and I said, this has really caught fire. I mean, these people are mad, big mad. Like, they're going to stop this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and they were like, I'm not going to be taken advantage of, and they weren't, and they went out there and stopped it. So you can do, there's other issues you can do that for too, that come up, and just if you're involved and you're paying attention. I mean, well, I think there's one there. I'm not going to say they were paying attention once they were actually notified. Before they just weren't notified,
right?
And so that was that was a good thing. But I think back to your original thing, yeah, I mean, about poor kids and school choice. I mean, this is that issue. It's the poor being taken advantage of. And unfortunately, in our society, that tends to happen, and not just ours, but pretty much any organized human society that happens. So, and that sucks. And I'm against that, and I think you're against that. And so when people think about school choice, maybe they want to kind of look at it from through those lenses.
Yeah, it's definitely another perspective, a different way to look at it. But switching gears a little bit. So yesterday started the jury process in the Sean Puff Daddy P. Diddy Combs trial. And so they had nearly 3 dozen New Yorkers who were questioned starting yesterday in Manhattan to get the jury selection underway. They also showed a list of more than 100 places and people whose names may come up at trials. And some of those names were Michael Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, none of whom are implicated in the case, but could very well come out as witnesses. And like I said, they're expecting this trial to go for months and months. So this should be super interesting.
So Michael Jordan and Mike Myers were part of the freak offs. That's what they were calling, right?
It just says that they are on a list of people whose names may come up at trial.
Okay. So I don't know. I mean, if I'm Michael Jordan and Mike Myers, I'm like, the trial is based on these drug-fueled sex events called freak offs, right? That's a big part of it. I mean, with the baby oil and all that stuff that Puff Daddy was using. And didn't he have like
strange.
gallons and gallons of that stuff?
Yeah, it's the weirdest.
I mean,
what was he doing?
He can't stop and he won't stop. I mean, that's the way it's
Ugh.
gone. So I don't know. I mean, then he was assaulting. I think one of the things, he had that video of him assaulting his ex-girlfriend.
It was awful. Like he drug her by her hair down the hallway in the hotel. It was terrible.
And now Puff Daddy, I saw like a courtroom sketch of him, and he like has like white hair and he looks like a grandpa. They trying to make himself more sympathetic to the jury, like they're not gonna know who he is.
I mean,
like you could look old as crap, but when they say 500 gallons of baby oil and freak offs, I think the jury's gonna see through that.
Yeah, he's got 5 indictments, but then there's also civil charges. There's a civil case as well that's
No, of course.
separate.
I'm sure he's getting sued by everybody.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. It's a whole lot of those. So it should be super interesting.
And it says opening statements are scheduled for May the 12th. I'm interested. I'd love to be the prosecutor on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you gallons and gallons of baby oil or whatever. And,
I don't know. Will they be able to pick jurors? That many jurors by the 12th? I feel like picking the jury is going to take a little while.
Probably would take a little longer. I would think so too. But yeah, you get to say that. You get to like show a demonstrative exhibit of the baby oil and the freak. This is what the freak off was like. Puff Daddy was tied up in leather,
I wonder what these videos are going to. I mean, I'm sure they're going to show videos in the courtroom. I probably can't air that on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be completely like your Puff Daddy. You're sitting there. Oh God, that's the time I had sex with a goat. Man, I don't want to see that.
Ooh,
like,
we do not promote that or agree with that in any way, shape, or form here on Crossing the Aisle. All right, well, we got to take our last break. Y'all stay with us. We will be right back here on WYB 103.9. All right, we got to take our last break. Y'all stay with us. We will be right back here on WYB 103.9.
WYAB. Pet emergencies don't wait, so why should you? At Urge Vet Emergency Vets of Madison, we offer low wait times and cutting-edge technology to provide fast, expert care for all household pets. Our hours of operation are weeknights 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. and 24 hours on weekends and holidays. Our phone number is 601-790-1918 and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Because when it comes to your pet's health, trust the team that's fast, reliable, and compassionate.
Now's the time to get a great deal on a Kubota Z200 series mower with the new K-Ride comfort system, designed to optimize your ride. The series delivers a quality cut and an exceptional ride. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0.99% APR for up to 36 months. Now through June 30th, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Divini Equipment, serving you in Madison and Jackson. Stop, call, or click at DiviniEquipment.com.
Pops Auto Sales on Highway 49 in Florence is where you come to buy quality cars, trucks, and SUVs. Priced to fit your budget. At Pops Auto, we specialize in trucks. From four-wheel drives to diesels, our satisfied repeat buyers know Pops has one of the largest truck inventories for any independent dealer, period. Browse Pops inventory at PopsAutoSalesLLC.com and get pre-approved for a 0 down payment with approved credit. With warranties and service contracts available. Pops Auto Sales, your home for trucks. Highway 49 South in Florence.
We all make plans for the future, but car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Jamie Creel for a free personal protection review. Attention homeowners and business owners. Complete Exteriors is now Elite Roofing and Gutters. Are your roof and gutters storm ready? The folks at Elite are your local experts in storm protection. Now is the time for an inspection and for proactive solutions that ensure your roof and gutters can withstand any storm. Get up to a possible $250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active military, veterans, and retirees. Online at EliteRoofer.com.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
I'm here with Lee Bounds of New American Funding. Lee, why is Rita Jensen of Remax Connection your go-to real estate agent?
I highly recommend Rita because she's honest. She just tells it like it is. She has integrity, and I just love referring clients to her because I know when I turn them loose, she is going to take care of them from the start. You'll always be in good hands with her. From the application to the keys, I like to say.
RitaJensen.net. Rita, JENSEN.net.
If you don't see the rock, you better keep on rolling.
Ken here with Rapid Oil Change. Do you drive a vehicle under a fleet program? Let Rapid Oil Change help. We specialize in local and national maintenance programs. With parts in stock for most makes and models, our goal is to minimize fleet downtime. Contact us at 601-919-8474.
Rapid Oil Change, where you should be going. If you don't see the rock, you better keep on rolling. Come together.
We are back here on Crossing the Aisle. Well, I am back here. Sean had to get to court, so he had to run out before the very end of the show and miss the last minute or so. But I thought it was really quite funny that this happened right when we've been on air. But last night or yesterday afternoon, we heard that Gavin Newsom wants to work with Donald Trump to make America film industry great again, and that he wants to basically partner with Trump to make that happen. Well, Trump, being Trump, of course, had a press conference earlier today where he completely trolled Gavin Newsom, actually calling him Gavin Newscom, right? And of course, the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is sitting right there beside him as Trump says, "Have you ever heard of Gavin Newscom?" So he is calling him out for the train system in San Francisco and Los Angeles, and basically, I guess, letting Gavin Newsom know, hey, I have absolutely no desire to work with you, which, who can blame him because of the god-awful job that Gavin Newsom has done in California. I find it so funny that now all of a sudden he is wanting to work with Republicans. He's going on Charlie Kirk's show saying that he believes it's crazy to have men and women's sports when, of course, California is basically one of the most liberal states that, if not the most liberal state that we have in the country. So it looks like Trump will not be working with Gavin Newsom. I don't think any of us are all that surprised about that. But of course, Trump in Trump fashion has to make little jags, which I think this one was quite funny. All right. Well, we will be back here tomorrow. Same place, same time. Sean and Lindsay Crossing the Aisle, WIB.